Hi, I'm Nolen Finley. I'm here with Debbie Dingell for another edition of DetroitNews.com Countdown. Today we're going to take a look at the Michigan Senate race, which is starting to heating up early. Republicans will go to Mackinac Island this week for their biannual state political conference, and one of the things we'll be watching is how Terri Lynn performs and how she starts to get Republicans excited about her candidacy. Debbie, the funders in the party, the establishment of the party, they weren't real excited about Terri Lynn when she first filed, when she first announced she was going to run. They were looking at Dave Camp, they were looking at Mike Rogers, they were looking at anybody but Terri. But now it looks like she's going to be their candidate, and she's got to convince them, get them excited about the possibility that she can run. What's she need to do up there on Mackinac Island?
Well, I think you're absolutely right. I, for one, have always respected Terri Lynn credibility. I think more than Republicans do. And I think her biggest problem is that people in her own party continue to deride her and not call her a good candidate or to support her. And if she doesn't turn around the party very quickly, she's not going to be able to raise any national money, and she's not going to be a credible candidate. I do understand that they're going to put a significant amount of their own money into the race. And I will also point out that I am told, I've got to go verify this, but that she is the #1 vote getter in the history of the state of Michigan. I do not underestimate Terri Lynn as a candidate, but Mackinac is going to be very important.
No, she has won twice statewide. She's running against Gary Peters, who's ran and failed statewide. She is one of something the party just absolutely loves, and that's a self-funder. She's got plenty of her own money to put in this race, and I think she's helped going in there by 2 or 3 recent polls that put her neck and neck with Peters, and one puts her slightly ahead. That's catching some attention. You know, if people believe she's got a chance to win, it'll bring the money. And there was a blog posting by the Republican City Committee saying, hey, we can pick up a seat in Michigan. They're starting to believe in Terri Lynn's chances, and if that happens, you're going to see a lot of outside money pour into the state on both sides, both the Democratic and Republican side. This could be a very, very expensive contest.
I have said to you for almost a year that I believe that Michigan was going to be one of the most competitive states in the country. I think everybody knows that the governor's race is going to be one of the most targeted. Republicans will do whatever they can to keep that seat because of a number of actions, starting with right to work in the state. It's going to be a target for national labor as well. So you start pouring money in from national Republicans on a governor's race and then add to it a potentially competitive Senate race, this will be ground zero for control of the Senate potentially.
Yeah, this could be the 51st seat for Republicans, or the place where Democrats put a stopper to it. Also, Governor Rick Snyder will be on the island, as you might expect. I was a little surprised to hear him say he might be months away from announcing his election plans. He still doesn't seem to get the politics of the job. And you would think that he would be up there saying, yes, I'm going to run, so that he could help others on the ticket. I think the last thing they need is any sort of uncertainty about the top of the ticket. What's he thinking?
I think that we're all enjoying it in the Democratic Party.
Sure.
Nolen. I think that the Tea Party going after the lieutenant governor is something that just has created nothing but straight amusement. The Republican Party is clearly divided, and a divided Republican Party is not going to win in next year's election. I also think you've got a lot of independents who are very uncomfortable with a number of the significant votes in the last year, starting with the Medicaid vote on legislation, and the legislature is not even being willing to give it instant enforcement. I think I've continued to say it's going to be a very competitive year next year.
And yet, the governor does seem to be distancing himself a little. In earlier polls, that dissatisfaction you talked about, that concern you talked about, showed up. Latest polls, governor's starting to pull away, putting a good deal of distance between himself and Shower. Governor's going to have a lot of money. He's also picking up a lot of high marks for his handling of the Detroit situation. Voters appreciate leadership as much as they weigh positions on issues. This is a state that knows what it's like to be leaderless. We were like that for almost a decade. And you know, voters appreciate a can-do, strong leader who knows what direction he wants to go in, and that's certainly something Snyder has presented. What he hasn't presented very well is any sort of love for the political game, and that's an unusual thing.
It is an unusual thing. I think it's one of his strengths in some ways, in that people are tired of the partisan bickering and fighting that you see. I'm not going to let you get away that the state didn't see any leadership. I think that what he's done in the last few years, the election will be a referendum on. He has certainly acted, and people will know what they're voting for when they go into the polls next November.
And if the state economy continues to be outpacing the rest of the nation, I don't see how an incumbent governor loses, no matter what his party. But that's all for this week. I'm Nolen Finley.
And I'm Debbie Dingell. We'll see you next time.